Today, I'm going to do a Deathloop review in progress.
How far did you get?
I'm about 3 to 4 hours in. I have actual gameplay footage that I recorded to accompany. The game starts out, it starts out a little bit linearly, as it's kind of this long-ish tutorial phase, but then it really starts to open up. But the first few missions are kind of linear, and it guides you through how the game works. And there's a lot to take in because it's a very interesting game concept. I've never played a game quite like this. You could compare it a little bit to Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. It's got, a little bit of Groundhog Day, so, the whole concept of a time loop has been done before. But I've personally never seen a game execute it in quite this same way. The whole premise is, you're on this island and there's this time loop, and you're trying to break the time loop, and you have to accomplish a specific set of objectives all within the same day in order to make that happen. But there's a long process of figuring out how to do that, and just figuring out where the hell everything is, and what's going on, and who's on the island, or what. It's very interesting, and so overall, I'm really, really liking it so far. I don't think it's the exact same studio that made the Dishonored games, but it is from Arkane, so it's from one of their sister studios, and it's got a very Dishonored vibe. Dishonored being one of my favorite games, so I like that about it. Awesome style. The world is very well put together. Pretty fantastic characters. It's a very fun world. Kind of linear at first, like I said, then it opens up once the tutorial phase is done. As far as protagonists go, so the protagonist's name is Colt, and he is one of the most fun pre-made male protagonists that I've had the pleasure of playing as. Big, loud personality, very funny, very the dialogue, very entertaining. I like it a lot. So it's kind of refreshing playing as a different kind of male protagonist, not your dark brooding type, but you're kind of guy who actually has a personality. I like it a lot. It's gotten mixed reviews though because of a lot of technical problems. There are a lot of people are finding it's not running very well on their machines. They're having stuttering problems.
Is this, now remind me very quickly, is this for the current gen only or for the older gen as well?
It looks like it's actually not on the PS4. From a quick Google search, it looks like it's actually just PS5.
Okay. So in that case, most of those complaints will probably be coming from PC users then.
Yes, well,
in which I would highly recommend that a lot of that is going to come down to drivers and probably a couple updates, which is unfortunate, but I mean it's just kind of like the nature of these games now going forward. We're just going to constantly be having this issue, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The Steam reviews are mixed, but if you look at the negative reviews, all of the ones I saw said it was for the technical issues, not for the quality of the game itself. Now, that's not to say there aren't any, but all of them were saying, technical issues. I detected a micro stutter when I first started playing it, and I could only tell because I was starting to get a little bit woozy, just like when the first time I played The Outer Worlds. And so I did some of the same things I did with The Outer Worlds. So first off, turned off motion blur, and then just did everything I could to, make the frame rate as smooth as possible. Played with the settings, with the advanced graphics settings. I'm running a 2060 Super. I've got it running fine, as you can see from the video here. But there were people with 30 series cards who were saying it runs like crap. So I don't know if they just, hadn't fiddled with their settings enough, or
it boils down to updates and settings, 100%.
Yeah. So,
I had, I've been playing Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, and it's the same thing there. A lot of crashing, a lot of hard computer crashing, which really started to annoy me. I was starting to get very upset until I looked at a couple of people talking about the same problem, and they're like, do this, do this, do this, do this, and then update your drivers, and then you're good. And since I've done that, not a single crash. So and that's, I think, something that we don't talk about enough, is the whole, like, people should really be taking care of the computers better, but it's not something that is actively encouraged anymore in wide circles, like in the everybody doing stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely. So yeah, if you are experiencing, I like this moment here where just kick the dudes into the water. By the way, the water in this game kills you, because it's like ridiculously cold. I'm enjoying the game a lot. I do have a few downsides. The combat is very, very, I would describe it as very basic. It's not bad per se, but it's very basic. Even though, it does have, Colt has some movement mechanics. He's got some mechanics that, he's got the slide, he's got the double jump, he's got a lot of things, and plus you then gain some supernatural or, advanced abilities, superhero-like abilities by obtaining them as you go through your adventure. And then you eventually get the ability to, carry these between loops with you by you get this energy that's like a currency, and then you can spend it on things that you want to bring through the loops with you. So I like that. So maybe it'll all get better. But I'm finding the combat and the combat very basic, and the movement mechanics, while they sort of mimic Dishonored, they're just not as good. They're not as good as Dishonored, or especially Dishonored 2. The movement in that game was like it was top notch. They really refined it so that it flowed. It felt really good, and so the movement in this I'm finding a little jerky. It doesn't ruin my experience, but I was hoping it would be better. I was hoping for a more Dishonored-like experience, and I'm kind of surprised considering it's basically produced by the same company. The enemy AI, and of course this is something I say about most games, but the enemy AI is not very smart. Again, the fodder enemies are really dumb. So of course they are. That's not to say they're not dangerous, but the danger more comes from if they spot you first, or if there's a lot of them, and there typically are. There are a lot of enemies around. So, and literally every NPC in the game is trying to kill you. so there is danger, but it's not from the enemies being smart. It's from them being numerous.
Yeah. Okay.
So again, will that change as I progress? Is it starting off easy and getting more difficult? Well, I will let you know in the future. But I would say that it's more so about stealth, strategy, and survival. That's kind of where the challenge and interest of the game comes in. It does have it has a Dishonored-like element in that, there's multiple ways you can approach things, or kind of a Deus Ex style thing. Like, you can hack things, or you can find an alternate way in. You can sneak around a back way, or you can fight your way through the front door. A lot of options. The island is there's a lot to it. And there's all these buildings and places, and some of them are you can tell there's something there. You just that is going to be interesting. You just don't know what it is yet, or how to access it, or maybe there's just more enemies than you want to deal with right off the bat. Again, I'm in the early stages of it, so I have a few concerns, a few things that I was a little disappointed with, but overall, I'm enjoying it quite a lot. I think that if you enjoyed Dishonored, you will enjoy this game. That's my feeling right now, but you might want to wait until they've done some patching. If you are concerned at all about the technical side of it, if it's going to run well on your machine. So I'd say, especially if you have a lower end machine, maybe you want to wait for them to do some patching. Of course, make sure you've got the latest video drivers and all that. That would really help. Like I said, I was able to play with the advanced graphics settings and make it run really well. So, but of course, I'd be remiss, though, if I didn't talk about the multiplayer component of this, which I haven't tried myself. But basically, there's this character in the game called Juliana, who is also a very fun character. And, she's got a lot of snarky banter back and forth with Colt. They have a history, and I'm not fully privy to what that history is yet. But I'm
Drama.
not... Yeah.
What kind of history?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, even Colt at the beginning, he can't remember. I don't know if this is. No, I'm getting into spoiler territory if I go into that. So so I won't do that. But anyway, yeah, it's very interesting. It's very funny. But Juliana, at certain points in the game, she just enters the game, and basically her entire goal is to hunt you down and kill you. That's all she does. She's like a rogue agent in a rogue element, an unpredictable variable within the game. And she can be AI controlled, but there's also multiplayer modes where you can allow your friends, or you can allow anyone on the internet to invade your game as Juliana.
Because that's going to go over swimmingly.
Yeah, exactly, right? And basically they just, I mean, you can choose. You can stay completely offline if you want, which is what I've done so far. But I'm hoping to, our colleague Jamie, who has done some reviews for us, she wants to get into this game. We're planning to try out the multiplayer together, so I'll report on that as well eventually. So, but anyway, that's an interesting component of the game that I'm very interested in trying out. I'm actually I don't know if I'm more stoked to run from a human Juliana or to be one. to maybe just go online and try to try to mess people up as Juliana. Does that make me evil? I don't know.
That's a good question.
So it's something that I've never seen done before. So that is a really interesting element of this.
How is the story, like the narrative as it's playing out? Is it interesting, or does it get highly repetitive?
Oh, I like it a lot. I mean, because there's a story that unfolds gradually as you're going through. Like it's not like you're doing the same story over and over, which is what got infuriating about Majora's Mask, which I know there's a lot of people out there who Majora's Mask is their favorite Legend of Zelda game. For whatever reason. For me, I was just like, this is so repetitive. So far, not much repetition. I was worried there was going to be a lot of repetition in the sense of like, okay, well, I got to go and find my weapons and I've got to find these objects. But it looks like they've mitigated that by giving you the option to bring certain things through to the next loop with you. That's all I really have to say about Deathloop right now. I'm enjoying it, but not necessarily recommending you run out and buy it right this second, especially with, it seems about half. Looks like if you go by the reviews, about half of people are having trouble running it properly.